Welcome to Season 1 of Gaming with Scott presents Stargate SG10, a Southgate Media production. Join us each week as our Stargate SG team follows a path of adventure and attempts to save the world and each other from the dangers of the universe. Starring Joshua Jackson, Kat Moran, Scott Troiano, and Cindy Bergen, with Scott Somerville running the table as Game Master. Epic adventures await just beyond this music. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Gaming with Scott. I am here with Kat Moran.
Heyo.
Josh Jackson.
Still packing.
Cindy Bergen.
Yes. Hello.
Myself, Scott, and our Game Master, Scott Somerville.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Woohoo.
We were headed towards the city.
Rolling,
you
rolling,
proceed
rolling.
Pardon me?
Rolling, rolling, rolling.
You proceed out across the wastes. It's very much like the Sahara, which you are familiar with from previous deployments. Very much like the empty quarter, actually, of Saudi Arabia. You've got rolling dunes that proceed on as far as the eye can see, under a crystal blue sky, and it's set out beautifully by the three moons that hang overhead, telling you you are very definitely not on the Earth anymore. Turnus and his group make a fairly determined path, heading straight due southwest.
Okay. Where we are going to keep pace with them. Master Sergeant is going to take point. I'm going to make sure that my team stays between the two of us, but we're going to try to stay relatively close together.
All right.
So it's 2 4-people groups. Or
All
4
right. It's
person
very
groups.
hot.
Is it midday? Is it afternoon? Like what time? We left at 8 a.m. What time would it be here?
You don't know.
Is the sun
in the
up?
sky. Sun in the sky. Oh, yes, it's high in the sky.
Okay, all right. It's not like, well, it's midnight. Oh, shit. Okay. I didn't know. It's like, you don't know what time it is. I'm like, ooh. Like,
It could be well about midday.
okay. All right. I'm going to start to track that kind of thing just so that I can see, okay, are we 2 hours ahead, 10 hours ahead? I want to, did we have in the report how long the standard day was?
It's a little shorter than Earth.
Okay.
About 23 hours.
Okay. All righty. Then we're going to make our way southwest.
Okay, you march for about 5 miles through the wastes, taking breaks every so often. You crest a dune, and there before you is an enormous tent leading against a cliff face.
How far in each direction does the cliff go?
It goes several hundred meters, the immediately exposed portion of the cliff face.
Mm-hmm.
Question. Is it just sand? Because even in deserts, there are occasionally different flora and fauna.
Thus far, it is
found.
just sand and rock.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm going to have a sip of my elderflower and rose lemonade. No, I'm just kidding. The water in my canteen. Man, if I could pack this stuff on a desert trip, that would be the thing. Are there other up the face? How tall is the cliff?
The cliff is about 80 feet tall at the exposed face, but it does recede and come and go.
Stuff in the cliff, like caves?
It appears to be a mine face.
Okay, I turn to Commander Turnus. I thought we were headed to the city first.
I didn't say that. I said I was headed for what I wanted.
Ah,
City's about another 4 miles that way off the map.
Right. Got it. Okay. Well then, let's go say hello to the indigenous peoples.
All right. Give me a roll. D10.
All of us.
Everyone?
All of you.
7.
10.
6.
5. The first thing that you notice is that although there is a tent there, there's not really any inhabitants around. You see 1 or 2 individuals who are poking out their heads, looking at you very cautiously, but it isn't really a fully working mine.
Okay, so where this is obviously not the city, this is not the main settlement. Is there motion going on in the tent? I mean, this is the rest tent from the mine. Is there a meal going on? Are there people in and out?
There's one or two people in the tent, but as I say, it's mostly deserted.
Is the tent mostly open on the sides, or is it enclosed?
It's open.
Okay, so we can pretty much see.
Yes.
What
There's only
condition
one or
are
two
the
people
people
in there.
in?
Pardon me?
The people in the tent, what condition are they in?
They appear to be in good shape, although they're looking at you very circumspectly.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody armed?
Not that you can tell.
Okay.
It would probably be best to make first contact with perhaps myself and one other person
Certainly. Let's go.
to avoid spooking them.
Sure.
Turnus walks up to you.
Yes, sir.
Well, looks like this is your show, Doctor.
It would appear so.
He
Shall we?
pretty much comes right up next to you and stands by you. And says, ready? Ready when you are.
Well, then we'll let you know, Commander. And I start walking towards the tent.
Oh, he's right along with you.
Okay.
Not going to say anything, just going along with it.
Okay.
Walking towards the tent, trying to look very non-threatening.
We're gonna let
two
her.
armed
I'm
men
gonna
beside me.
match Commander Turnus so that she's point.
Well, you let her be point, but he's right at your side.
That's fine.
As we get a bit... I can English. I just came from England. I can English. As we get a bit closer, I'll turn to the commander and say, perhaps it would be best if you dropped back a bit, so as to appear less threatening.
Very well. I can do that.
Thank you.
Which is somewhat difficult to do because this guy is the size of a bowl, but he does give you a bit of a space.
Thank you, sir.
And I will mirror that spacing. I know what I want this to look like when we walk up. He looked at it like he rolled the die. He looked at it like, no, I don't want it to say kill them all this early.
That wasn't the one I wanted. Roll again.
You see about 5 or 6 people, but as soon as they catch sight of you, I mean really catch sight of you as you properly approach them, 2 or 3 of them make a run for it.
In which direction?
Ostensibly, if you caught Turnus's motion towards the city. The others are looking very skittish. They're not running, but there was a few words amongst them, and 2 of them took off.
Could we hear anything they said?
Give me all.
Roll well. 9?
You hear something that roughly translated probably meant something like "they're back."
Oh. Okay, then. Can I recognize roughly what language family it comes from?
Egyptian.
Right, then. I'm a bit rusty on that, but we'll see what we can do. So I'll ask the commander and yourself to hold back just a little bit further, and I will approach slowly. Sorry. Both hands up to show that I'm not armed. Also, I know that in Egyptian culture, this generally means peace. Both hands up, palms facing out.
All right, one of the young men approaches you. He's very skittish, but he does walk up to you and stops about 10 feet away.
Good health to you. In my best attempt.
Give me a roll.
Please don't make me insult his mother. 3. What
He
did I
looks
say about his mother?
confused.
Hello. Try that. Again, 3. Not doing well, am I?
No, he's looking you over closely, though.
In what manner?
At this point, it's hard to tell. I mean, he's obviously eyeing up your gear
Probably for
and
marriage.
your outfit.
But I just met him.
He says something. Give me a roll.
right, red die, you're out of commission for now. You have angered me. 7.
It might be hello. It might be greetings. It might be welcome. You're not sure, but it is. Now that you've heard a few words of it, it seems to be related to Coptic.
Okay. That helps. So, firstly, smile and nod, and make another attempt at hello. Hello or peace. 10.
Okay, he seems to bow slightly towards you. He gestures with his hands, welcoming you into the tent.
Return the gesture of thanks
Okay.
as a slight bow.
He ushers you over towards the fire, where they appear to be cooking a small meal. There's only about 4 people left, but they're doing their rounds, making sure the tent seems to be maintained, but they're all looking at you now.
Casually, I'll gesture for the 2 men to follow at a distance. Hopefully they did.
Yep.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah. She goes into the tent. We go into the tent.
Yeah.
It's hot.
It's a desert and there's a fire.
I want to trail some of the folks that actually ran away, seeing where exactly they're going and if they're coming back with more people.
Are you going to chase them?
I'll double time it. Just seeing how far I can see and what I can see.
We'll be back to you.
Understood.
Hold that thought.
International Incident 101. Oh, I'm sorry.
How not to do things.
No, I don't know. And when I see Master Sergeant Calhoun go in an obvious direction, I put 2 and 2 together, and then I go, as I move towards the tent, I motion for the doc to come on in, too. At least be out of the sun. I don't know who would just go running out in the sun. Just, hey, there's a tent right here. We could be out of the sun. Hey,
I brought a hat.
I brought a hat.
You have a hat and sunscreen. Have fun. You've got your harmonica if you need it.
Yes. And I don't want to necessarily join the fire per se, because I don't want anything to eat, but I do want to stay within earshot and clear line of sight, or line of fire, more appropriately, from her and them.
The locals seem to make you fairly welcome, but they're clearly nervous about the men. They do attempt to put out some plates of food for you on simple platters, offering you hospitality. And they look fairly expectant about it.
It would be rude to turn it down.
Give me a roll on a D10, except for you.
So I'm running in the sun.
3.
7.
It was a 7 till I hit it and made it a 3.
Why did you do that?
I don't know. It's bad. I got to train these dice. You don't train your dice. Rico told you how to do that. Anyhow.
They were good until you touched them.
All right, you got a 3 and you got a 7?
Yeah.
Each of you roll off.
2.
4.
All right. They appear to offer you something that looks like it's a reptile, which has been cooked over the open fire and laid open, along with what you notice are probably herbs of some sort. So there is some plant matter involved, along with some flatbread.
Okay. Would it be proper to offer salt?
Say that again on mic.
Would it be proper to offer something like salt?
Would it be? What does a 10 say? Yes. Yes, I think that might be appreciated. Thank you. I will offer them the salt so that they can clearly see it, and if they would like, touch it.
Now you get smiles because you've offered hospitality in return, and they take it gratefully. They set it aside.
Good call.
There's a few words muttering back and forth between the natives as they, talk to each other. And they're all looking at you. One of them proceeds to carve into something, offering something to Turnus, who takes a portion. Kimberly Moore Tammy Moore sort of looks askance at it, but, at least hangs on to it. And one of them carves deep into the animal and comes over and offers you the eyeball.
Do I have a plate as such? I take it, put it on my plate.
They're looking at you.
I think you're supposed to pop it in your mouth and eat it.
Mo?
Yes.
Well, is this for show? I'm not going to eat the centerpiece, am I?
Well, sir, you have a plate in front of you.
Well, they've given you a choice part.
Are they looking expectantly in a good, like, oh, here, here's the thing, or is this like a?
Is he actually going to do it?
Is this like, is this moron going to actually eat this?
Give me a roll.
All right.
Stop that.
2.
Give you this nice thing to roll on.
Yeah, I know, but that's way out here. I'll gladly re-roll that.
No,
Okay, that's a 2.
you're not sure.
Okay. When in Rome, I will. If they're all like they gave her something, they gave her something, they gave him something, they gave her something. They come at me. They go in and give me a piece that's different than all the rest, and they all stop and watch to see what I do. We're gonna eat it, or at least I'm gonna eat it.
Should I go get the Vegemite?
Sure.
Well, we don't want to take that long of a break, but you get the idea. Or
Can you
if you
say-
haven't had the idea, Vegemite or Mimart is available in your local store in the foreign food section. Please give it a try.
Please start with a half to a quarter of a spoon of it, and then just pop it in your mouth, scrape it off with your tongue, and
Can you say test of manhood?
right. And it certainly is, and I remember mine, and I
Stick with the eyeballs. Stick with the eyeballs.
stick with lizard eyeballs. They're
Probably
much
better
more
on toast.
tasty.
Yes.
It's awful.
Yeah, I bet it is.
It's
just terrible.
not well cooked. It's somewhat jelly-like.
Oh,
Probably goes better on toast than Vegemite.
Yeah, probably.
With the consistency of sort of a very firm grape.
I'm going to hold it with my tongue, make the chew while I hold it in one spot and don't actually chew it, and then I'm just going to swallow the whole thing. We're going to force this down. Now, granted, who am I going to upset when I say this? This is going to be terrible. Granted, I've never been in the Air Force, so I'm not used to Air Force food. So I don't know if this would disagree with my palate or not. No, I'm just kidding.
Turnus is looking at you like you're a prize idiot.
Turnus can look.
Give me a roll.
And then I
9.
smile to the.
9.
I smile to the group.
You hear them. You hear some of the natives whispering, and you manage to overhear some of the conversation.
cojones.
Okay.
I nod and gestured back to the fire.
They're very appreciative. They welcome you to sit down. They extend all courtesy.
You see Mo just poorly trying to hide a smile.
So, shall we?
What would
What
you
I
like to
just
know?
and I smile. What I just eat.
Don't worry about it. Don't
Fair
ask
enough.
questions you don't want answers to.
Fair enough. So, shall we continue?
We shall. What would you like to know?
Who's in charge?
Right. Should we ask first if we're the first ones they've seen come from the gate?
Good idea.
Doctor, ask them where all the miners are.
Who's in charge?
We'll get there.
Okay.
Right. So I'll just turn to the one that approached me outside the tent initially and ask him just, where's everyone else?
Give me a roll.
10. I like this die.
They sort of repeat what you said to each other in a slightly different diction. The inflection's off from what you said, but you get the understanding of the words. And hesitantly, a couple of them point off the way that 2 or 3 of the people went. 2 of the runners ran off to.
The city? Asking him.
Roll, please.
6. I'm not liking you quite as well.
One looks at the other and snickers.
Right. I either pronounce that poorly or there's something going on.
Okay. And I'm going to look in the general direction where they were. Has
Or maybe what they
Master
consider
Sergeant Calhoun
city
come
is
back
not
yet?
What we consider a city.
The miners, Doctor. Where are the miners?
I point in the direction that the other guy pointed.
Now, I hope you're not going to be disruptive to this process. We do need to assess this situation. Where are the miners? We have reports there were hundreds of them here.
I understand, sir. I asked him where the miners were, and he pointed. When I asked if they were in the city, they laughed.
He looks thunderous at the whole proposition, and he's looking around, stomping around, surveying the diggings now. He says something to a couple of his team, and they sort of spread out. Miss Moore setting up some equipment off to the side. You, please give me a roll, Master Sergeant.
4.
Wandering through the trackless ways, Sergeant, you have been doing your best to keep up with them. However, you are heavily loaded down.
Well, no. Let me explain more what I was doing. I would like to get to high ground because I do have binoculars on here and see where they are going, seeing if they're getting
How
more people
far
to
are
me.
you going to go along in their wake?
At least 5 or 6 minutes, trying to not keep that keep that tent in my line of sight
Okay.
because I don't want to wander in the waste. Ta-da!
Points to you.
Points to you.
So a little far out, just seeing how far I can see where they're going and if they're going to get friends.
You get a general sense of the direction they're going, but you do lose them after a bit. The wind is blowing fairly stiffly, so, plus it's sand. So, you can't really track them as such. But you crest one of the dunes and get a fair approximation of the direction they're going without losing sight of the tent.
Understood. So I'll get what information I can and I'll head back because I don't want to get lost in a frickin' sandstorm.
All right.
Yeah, that was the... So you're lost in the desert roll. Yeah. I was like, oh, no.
It's like, I got binoculars. Find high ground.
And you have everyone's tent. Oh, no. Okay,
I know.
so that was coming. Okay.
Well, we've at least found a tent. Perhaps we can share.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
All right.
All right, well, then I'm going
Well,
to...
you've definitely got one friend among the natives.
Seems to be.
Yeah.
Let's hope it stays that way.
Yeah.
So are the natives actively eating?
Yes, they are.
Okay. So then...
Well, let's not be rude then.
Enjoy the lizard.
Absolutely.
Lizard. Taste of chicken.
It tastes like chicken.
All right, I'll have a couple pieces of lizard. That's fine. That's all good. I got a candy bar. It's all right. With that, after a couple pieces of lizard, they're all eating. I'm going to actually bust out a candy bar from one of the pockets, break it in half, and hand it to whoever she gives me the nod to.
I would assume the first one that interacted with me.
Okay. Then I give him both pieces.
He looks at it very uncertainly.
You may want to demonstrate that it's safe to eat.
Oh, okay. Well, I take one of them and I take a little bite. Hand it back.
He likes that a lot better.
Chew it up. It's good for me. I pull another one out of my pocket, open it up, and start eating it.
He takes it and is very delighted with the taste.
Excellent.
Bobs his head appreciatively and wanders back over to the tent. At this time, please give me a roll.
Everyone?
Scott. Captain.
9.
All right, you've noticed that Turnus and his group have kind of split off. Give me one more roll, please.
3.
All right, you see Turnus, obviously. You also see Tammy Moore, who's still working on some equipment, surveying the tent. But you've lost track of the other two.
Okay.
At about that time, Master Sergeant Calhoun reappears at the tent.
Okay.
I'll just find a place to take a quick seat next to the captain or close to the captain.
One of the natives comes over and offers you some food.
I will gladly take it, bow, and take it to go sit by him to talk to him real quick.
Doctor, what are you going to do?
I'm eating.
Okay. Give me a roll,
Ready?
please.
What?
It's never good.
Question. Does this still have the scales on it, or has that been burned off, cooked off?
Oh, it's been peeled off. Skin's
Okay.
been pulled back.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Samples.
Ah.
Samples.
Alrighty. Okay.
So I sit down close to you and say, I tried to follow some of the locals that were running away, sir.
What'd you find out?
I lost them in some of the sand and the storm or the wind or whatnot. I didn't want to get too far away from camp, but I wanted to see if they were bringing anyone else back with them.
Probably, if this is the mine, it's going to be 4 or 5 miles in that direction. I'm glad you didn't go too far. You wander around out there, you can get lost.
Don't want to die, sir.
Absolutely.
Leave
Good
that
for
the
you,
next
Calhoun.
leave that for the next expedition.
How? Here's what I want you to do: eat up with the lizard. It's actually not that bad. Don't take any eyeballs or anything weird.
Brought MREs, so I think that this will be a holiday. So we're all right.
So from there, I want you to keep an eye on Turnus and Molly here.
Is everybody here and accounted for? I take it.
No, there's 2 other people that seem to have gone missing. I'm going to see if I can't poke my head around a bit and locate them.
Understood.
Can you ask our hosts what the story about the cliffs here are?
You mean whether it's a mine?
Well, what they know of it, what their stories of it is.
See what I can do.
Okay.
Anything for you?
I'm going to nod, set my plate down, and back out. Like the closest direction from me and the edge of the tent, I'm going to roll out and see if I can't put eyes on those 2 while she's ferreting out more information about the history of the mine.
Which 2?
The 2 security people that are not in evidence.
You want to see if you can see the people you don't see.
That is correct.
Exactly.
That are obviously not in the tent, so when I walk out, I'll need to locate them. Yeah, if that's a spot check, that's fine for me. It ain't nothing.
All right.
I will finish my food and walk over to the host, the one that greeted me, and attempt to introduce myself and kind of ingratiate myself a bit. Try to learn his name.
Please.
5.
Most of that seems to get through.
Yay. Okay. Carrying on as if I did understand the last bit. I will ask who is the overseer of the mine? Who's in charge?
That you get a definite name on. Kasuf.
Kasuf? And I will ask, where is Kasuf? Is that the same direction as the other miners ran?
The city.
Okay. So is that the same direction the other miners ran, or no?
The direction the miners ran to? Or?
Yeah, the ones that
Yes.
ran when we first approached.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So that is the direction of the city, then.
Yes, you get that.
Okay. Note that for later. Okay. And then I'll just generally ask him what's the story with the mines? What are they mining here? How long has it been here? I will not ask him that. I rolled a 1. I will ask him that very poorly.
You insulted his mother.
Coptic with a Jersey accent doesn't work well.
The Real Housewives of Coptic Egypt.
Oh.
Good Coptic shore.
No,
Can I try that
she
again?
didn't use Coptic. She used Sedek.
Ah, that would do it.
I think that was a compliment, so thank you. And then I will try to ask again more clearly this time.
What exactly are you going to ask? Again.
How long the mine has been here and what they are mining. If you don't roll well this time, you're being retired with the red one. 8.
Ah, okay.
Oh.
Threats work against dice, yes.
So not what you were plumbing, but what you were mining.
Wow. Okay, then.
He looks a bit confused about the first part of the question, but as far as the second, he looks over and looks a bit disturbed because Tammy Moore has been waving a device around and has homed in on a small pile of minerals that is on an individual bed over in the corner of the tent. And he gets quite aggravated.
They are not with us.
Ms. Moore,
Yes?
could you please not pay so much attention to that pile of minerals?
Well, it's what seems to be what we're here for. She's waving something that appears to be something like a Geiger counter because it's definitely picking up some sort of reading.
It would appear to be that, but it would also appear to be perhaps something the miners should not have in their personal possession.
Well, how do you get that?
Bloody look at the man.
He looks just fine to me. After all, they mined it. Why wouldn't it be in their possession?
Because it should be in the possession of whoever they are working for. And it's clearly making him uncomfortable.
We'll see about that. But she steps back.
Thank you. Does he look any less disturbed?
He still looks a bit apprehensive. He's not sure what's going on.
Okay. Try to explain to him they're just looking at it. 10.
He doesn't seem to quite understand, but he does seem somewhat reassured.
That's something.
All right, give me a roll.
Alrighty. 8.
Well, you've wandered around outside the tent, and you've failed to spot these two.
Okay.
It's, as I said earlier, it is an open-air tent.
Right.
There's nowhere really particularly to hide. The dunes are there to see, which really leaves the mines themselves.
Right. Speculation is that while we were looking over there, they went into the mines over here. Great.
Mm-hmm.
I make my way back to Commander Turnus. Did your men go into the mine?
Yes, they did,
Why?
because they're going to assess the situation.
And we cleared this with the locals, so there's no problems, right?
There really aren't any locals here to be speaking of.
Well, they just served the non-existent locals, just served you food.
Yes, they did, and I appreciate it. However, the mines appear to be deserted, and we need to assess that situation.
And you cleared it with the locals that are here that served you food, right?
That's your linguist job, and she didn't seem to be very interested in speaking to me, so no, Captain, I did not.
Excellent.
I took my initiative like you're supposed to on an independent command.
You're right, and you're absolutely correct. I stand corrected. You're right. I need to take that initiative.
Yeah.
So you'll go get your men now.
Give me a roll.
5.
One of them comes back out after a couple of minutes. Turnus is still looking at you like he's deciding exactly which way to chew you up and spit you out.
Does he look overheated, red in the face?
Perpetually.
Okay.
Right.
Like he might have a fever.
No.
Hey, I turn to you and say, "Everything all right, sir?"
Okay.
It will be.
I have my firearm at the ready.
Commander Turnus, there's one of two ways this is going to go. You're either going to get your men and bring them back, or you're going to make you get your men and bring them back.
I'd like to see how that go over in a congressional report, Captain.
I'm sure you would, but since this is my independent command, I'm taking initiative.
Which does not include me.
This is not a discussion, sir.
No, it does not.
We're done.
I take the safety off my weapon.
Which weapon?
Machine gun I have.
Oh, jeez. Not even the sidearm.
That escalated.
Interestingly, the other guy does too.
Perfectly fine. Mexican standoff.
Can I interrupt right now? I'm going to make it clear to Tanis that we should probably vacate the area a little bit. 9? Yes, and also mention that you might want to grab anything that should not be found by his overseer.
He's looking very confused.
It's about to get dangerous. 7. I don't know how much clearer I can make it.
He backs away and he's bowing to both of you. He's saying something to the others. They're groveling too.
That didn't come across the way I wanted it to.
They have no flight response.
No, it's probably been beaten out of them. What do you think? Would it be safer to go into the mines or out of the tent?
I think it would be safer to subdue some people chemically.
That is your area, Doctor.
PRNs, yay.
Oh, motion to Tanis and the others who are bowing. Just come this way.
At that point, the other person comes out of the mines. He assesses what he sees is going on, and please give me a roll.
8.
Yes, you do see the laser sight that's on your chest.
I put my laser sight on Turnus. Going out.
I'm going to look between him and Turnus. Obviously, I see the sight as well.
No, not obviously, but give me a roll.
All right. I'm looking at the chest of my man, or the middle of my 10.
Got a Kevlar vest if it hits me in the chest. That's
All right,
it.
maybe not, obviously, but I rolled a 10.
Okay.
I have an 18 on spot.
All right, so you look at him.
No, I go between the two of them. I want to make sure my man is at the ready, and then I'm going to stop on Turnus. Do I notice the dot on him?
Nope.
No? Okay. And he's got his... Okay, you did notice the dot. You bring your gun up?
Oh, yeah. I mean...
Okay. Master Sergeant, why did you raise your weapon?
This is starting to get heated, sir. Just at the ready.
Is there something that caused you to lift your weapon? That's not necessary, I don't think. And I'm keeping eyes on Turnus the whole time. I'm not going to just turn and give him a blind side.
Apologies, sir. I can remove the sight from
You roll spot
Commander
to see
Turnus.
what's going on.
Are you looking at the natives, or are you looking at the rest of your party?
The rest of the party.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking there's probably going to be more violence coming from them than from the natives.
Give me a roll.
7.
Okay. Yeah, you...
Spot of 16 with a +3 for wisdom.
All right. You quickly assess what's going on. Also, Tammy Moore wanders over to you and says, I think we need to put a stop to this, don't you?
Mm-hmm. How would you suggest doing so?
Well, I'm not too sure about the colonel, but perhaps you can get your man in line and I'll talk to mine.
All right.
There's no need to be unprofessional about this, is there?
No. Go over to the captain. So, can we de-escalate?
Certainly, the commander here was just going to bring his men back down to the 10.
Okay.
I think we're fine. And I look at Turnus.
Turnus looks at you in a way that says to you without a single word that you're outgunned, but he's going to acquiesce anyway.
Good for me.
Yeah. Sir, stand down.
Sure.
All right. I lower my weapon.
And put the safety back on?
I lowered my weapon.
Nice.
The native says something to you. Give me a roll.
Bad dice. They tried to
It's not a
escape.
10. It didn't count as my roll.
I will wear these bastards' teeth as a
Oh, that was a
necklace.
3. It wasn't that much better.
You utterly failed to comprehend what he said.
Universal sign of, sorry, what?
What the?
I didn't quite catch that. 8.
All you can tell is he's very nervous, but he's kind of looking around. Is this all right now? And without understanding exactly what he said, but the body language and the visual expression is perfectly clear.
Like, we cool? We cool?
Universal sign of, it's okay. It's cool.
No.
There's no such universal sign for
Give me a
now.
roll.
2. It's not so cool.
It's the universal sign of we're cool while you're looking going, I don't know. Are we
Yeah.
cool? Yeah. Oh, okay. Got
We're
it.
cool,
no,
I think.
we're not really cool.
He says something sharply to the others, and they all start bowing to you.
And they have a new goddess. Thanks.
Well, that's a way to stroke any woman's ego, okay. Try to ask him why they're bowing. Not that I'm really going to question it that much, but 10.
You address him, and he looks up hesitantly at you. He still seems unwilling to speak about it. But he does give you a direct gaze eventually, but he's still not willing to reply.
Okay, this is going to sound like a really terrible scene from a movie, but I will physically take his hand and make him stand up and look at me and ask him again, why are they bowing? With a 4.
He's scared. He's scared of you. He doesn't say a word, but he is very frightened of you.
Ask him why he's scared. If my die will stay on the table. 5. You're going to get retired. You go away. You just see a very confused look come over Mo's face. Very confused.
Something wrong?
Have I noticed the
I'm not sure
locals
yet.
bowing to her yet?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I'm going to make my
Have
way
you
over
become their protector or their goddess?
I'm going to make my way over to Mo.
Or both?
Not sure yet.
Did she get married off yet? What just happened?
As far as I know, no, not yet.
So, Mo, I've got a couple questions. I'm keeping my eyes still on Turnus to see what he's doing.
May have answers. We'll see.
Who's the guy in charge?
That would
His
be
name is
Mo.
Kasuf,
Kasuf.
and he's in the city, which is the direction the other miners ran off in earlier.
Excellent. Kasuf.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why are they all bowing?
Not entirely sure on that one.
You know they're all bowing to you, right?
Yes.
Good. Keep that.
This one seems very scared of me. I'm not sure why.
Okay. Alrighty. Fair enough. Carry on.
Do I still have the sight on me, by the way?
Can you ask him why he's afraid?
I tried.
Uh-huh.
Seems to be a bit of a jog in communication on that area. I can keep trying.
Ask
How
him.
about asking him what you can do to make him feel better.
I got a better one. Ask them if there's somebody that helps teach their language, not for them or
Yeah.
us, but to help you get up on board. I don't want to know. I mean, I do want to
That
know.
would be a good idea.
But it ain't going to happen.
It's more important than I know right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. So I'll start by asking him, so you've seen others like us here before? 6.
With a combination of what you think you're saying, plus a couple of pantomimes as far as what you're wearing, the equipment, he nods warily, but he nods.
Did any of them learn your language? 5.
He doesn't understand.
Ask if any of them learned our language.
I will try that way then. Have any of your people learned our language? That one has a 9.
He still doesn't seem to understand.
How can I rephrase this? Have any of your people been able to speak with the people like us who came before? 10.
Okay, so I'm presuming you kind of pantomime that out.
Yeah.
Jackson! Daniel Jackson!
Oh, him.
There's a name I
And
know.
they all look kind of excited and chatter to each other about...
Mo,
Yes?
what are you guys talking about Daniel Jackson for?
Because he's apparently the one other person who's been able to speak with them in their language,
He's dead.
which is a problem for us.
Okay, great. Maybe he took notes. Can you ask where he's buried?
He might be on our side.
Who?
Do you know where Daniel Jackson is now? 7. Yeah, that's something we already knew. Okay. His belongings, his possessions, things. Do you know where those are?
Show him your notebook.
Yes! Thank you! Notebook. Anything like this that belonged to Daniel?
Daniel.
Yes. 10. I like this die.
He kind of points back towards the city.
I'll point at the notebook. Daniel's in the city? 10 again. I like you.
He seems uncertain. It's... He wants to explain something to you, but he's not quite sure.
How about show me?
Yeah. Can you show me? 3.
No.
Or take us to the city. Let's go.
If you want to pantomime that out as well, I mean, I presume that you're using hand gestures as well.
Yeah, like,
I mean, that's
can
a
you
fairly,
take me,
Yes.
show me?
That's a fairly basic one. He comprehends that. There ensues a discussion between him and the other 4 who are still there.
Did I manage to catch any of it? No, I don't.
No, it's fairly animated, though, and it's directed about you, quite clearly.
All right. Suggestions?
Now, in the meantime, Tammy Moore comes back over to you and says, I think this is going to work out. Your team seems to be interested in headed off to the city, and we're going to stay here and pitch tent and see what there is to do around here. It seems to be the central concentration of these minerals, which, we can assess that while you get to know the natives better and possibly join you later on.
So, is your boss really, from what you've seen of him, you've worked with him a long time, right? Is he really that concerned about the people here?
I'm concerned about the people. He's mission-oriented, and he's going to make sure that we all get back safe.
Okay. Then, good luck.
Are we going to the city?
It would appear so.
After you.
That would be up to Tennis and the rest.
Or if you would like, you and Calhoun here can stay here and...
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not going to happen. No. And leave you two to go.
I don't know if you remember, but we couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
You two are going to go off.
Yeah, but it might not be a weapons thing that is needed over there.
Just in case, I'd feel better if there was someone who could actually use a firearm.
Okay.
Accurately.
That's cool.
I go over to Commander Turnus and say, it's our understanding you guys are going to stay here and assess the mine. We're thinking about going to the city. Did you want anyone to come with to the city?
No, that seems like a good division of labor. We shouldn't need too much translation right now. We're just going to take some scans and readings, try and take a sample or two, and see what we can find.
Fair enough. I'll see if I can't also iron out with the local person to see if appropriation of samples would be acceptable to take back and go from there. Then let's go.
All right. Before we leave, I'll holler over. If you come across any writings or graffiti, please take images for me.
The woman takes note of that, and she sort of nods your way.
All right.
And the commander just ignores that it was ever said, right?
Mostly.
Nice. Great. Okay.
Something tells me I'm not his favorite person right now.
Yeah. Off to see the wizard.
The Wonderful Wizard of Oz.
At least you didn't flat out tell him he was full of shit.
Okay, we
Never crossed my mind.
Who comes with us from the tent when we basically the four of us muster and start heading in the direction of the city?
Essentially, all four of them come.
Okay.
They sort of flank the doctor, Dr. Moran. And
Maureen.
they're-
If it's easier, just call me Mo and call her Doctor.
They flank Mo, and they're very deferential to her, but they're sneaking looks at her as they walk along. But they are guiding all of you, definitely.
Okay.
And they take you in the general direction that you were in before. A few miles pass, about 5 or 6, as you come over the dunes.
We'll get 2-3 miles out, and I'm going to saddle up next to. I'm going to kind of and gesture to the group to kind of tighten up a little bit here. And as I speak, everything I say is going to be done through smiled teeth to give minimal lip reading. We might have a problem with Turnus. Just thought I'd let you know.
Really?
You know already. If push comes to shove, and it shouldn't, we're all professionals. We can all do our job. The bowing thing, that might be a pivot point that we can use. But
Duly noted.
that's a last straw kind of thing. We're all here. We'll all get taken care of. And if it doesn't, worst case scenario, we can go back home and it'll all get sorted out. Should things go sideways in a bad way, and Master Sergeant drew his weapon, probably a little tense, more tense back there than it needed to be. We're going to try to escalate that down. You did well, but
No, it's
probably
fine, sir.
jumped a little soon.
Well, we are outgunned. He is right about that. So,
Well, be that as it may. Again, he's on a foreign world.
We're practicing.
no, understood. I don't think he'll have any problem in putting us in the dirt. So,
Well, that's what we want to keep from happening.
agreed.
So I just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page.
Sure.
And you seem to be positioned well with this group, and hopefully positioned well with the group we're about to meet. And if that's the case, then it might behoove us to have the more emotionally charged conversations with more of them than Turnus and his group. Just an idea.
Understood.
And then I let us kind of unbunch a little bit and we wander away. Not that I was trying to set that up or pivot that in any direction, but if you hold more sway than any of the rest of us, I'm not against that.
Nor am I. I like to be on the winning side.
There you go. Exactly. I'm glad that we think alike.
It helps.
And I stop, kind of lean in, plus. And we continue on our way.
All right.
Right.
You crest a dune eventually, and there before you lies the city of Nagata, laying out before you. The massive gates lay open, and as you approach, you can see a plethora of individuals about the city, going about their various tasks.
Like, how big are we talking?
It's a good-sized town, but it's impossible to tell its actual dimensions because it has very high walls.
Like, walls go off in both directions over the horizon? Walls go off miles?
I would say the better part of perhaps 2 miles.
Wow, that's big. Okay.
And the walls are quite high with parapets, but it doesn't look to your trained eye like it's defensive in nature.
Stone wall? Trees?
Give me a roll.
Where did you go, good guy? Come back. 4.
Can't tell at this distance.
Any green?
Give me a roll.
4.
Can't tell.
Anything that looks like large dromedary type animals?
You do notice several.
Okay.
For our listeners at home, dromedary means...
Camels.
Okay. I would also have you define deciduous if you'd have gone that direction too. That's where I'm going next. Sources of water yet?
Not that you've seen.
Okay. Because it's not like the wall is next to the river or anything. Okay. Yeah, thought I'd ask.
Yeah, I've got a question, but I don't think my character would have any way of really asking it.
Give it a try.
Anything that looks like the city could go below ground.
You can't tell because of the walls.
Okay. I mean, she has no architecture or, construction.
So it doesn't look defensible. It just looks massive, and that this is where it is. I mean,
Yes.
This is the middle of the desert's go. This is... When we came out of the gate and we marked our position, did we notice the pyramids?
Yes.
Are there any pyramids around the city?
No.
Does the architecture that was in the colonnade in the room look similar or match the city?
Not that you can tell from the outside.
Because you see what I'm trying to line up here?
Yes.
Like, okay, one built one and somebody else built the other. Fair enough. Okay. Well then, after you.
All right, then.
We're off to seek
And
a
what are you going to
Suf.
Oh, no. Going with them.
All right.
This is all over my pay grade.
Give me a roll.
8.
Very good. As you've been taking point, you notice that a crowd is starting to accumulate at the mouth of the city.
Sir, we might have an issue here. Crowd forming over there.
Okay. Are they armed?
Spot check.
Give it a shot.
7.
Not that you can tell.
No, sir.
Okay. Well, then we just make sure that we stay within arm's length of our group and we don't get separated.
Understood?
All right. As you close in on the crowd at the gate, an individual in saffron robes steps out and has a few sharp words with the people who are with you.
8 to hear what they are? Again, through gritted teeth. I think we found our man.
Oh, good.
However, our lovely guides do not seem to be quite as welcome.
Why not?
Okay.
Why not?
He's asking them why they've come here.
Could be they're supposed to be at work at the mine.
Or meant to protect what's left of the mind.
Oh, crap. Okay. Great. Alrighty. Well,
Course of action?
first we're going to thank goodness that Raw is dead. Second of all, let's say hello and get introductions and see if we can find Dana Jackson's notebook and go from there.
Apologize for taking them from their work.
Sure, that sounds
Good call.
Mm-hmm.
So once their conversation kind of dies down a bit,
Yes, Kasuf steps forward and he kind of looks to you a bit uncertainly. He's looking you over fully.
What does he look like?
He's an elderly gentleman.
Does he look to be in good health?
He looks to be in very good health. As a matter of fact, all of them look to be in very good health.
Mm-hmm.
Elderly gentleman, saffron and red robes. Very ceremonial appearance. He is carrying a staff.
Mm-hmm.
He appears to be a figure of some importance amongst the culture.
Is he wearing a hat?
Yes, he is.
Is anyone else wearing a hat?
A few.
But not a bunch. Do all of the people that are wearing the hats look more ceremonious, more important, more
Affluent?
Do all the ones
than the
wearing
others?
hats have weapons?
Give me a roll. And you.
3.
6.
6.
would you like me to roll as well?
No, they were the ones who asked the question.
Because
Okay.
tell me, brother Josh.
Give me a roll off, since you both had 6.
Because tell me, brother Josh, the hat's important, isn't it?
8.
3.
Don't mess with a man's hat.
You notice not any particular mark of distinction, but there's a group of women in the back, one of whom seems to be quite prominent, and they're all looking at you particularly as a crowd.
Okay.
But there's just something about the way that the rest of the crowd sort of seems to give them deference, and just their manner of composure that says, okay, this is someone who I need to take note of.
Okay. Are they wearing anything that collects them together, like badges, cowls, habits?
Give me a roll.
I'm blind.
Not that you notice, but they are a group that is standing
Okay.
together. Okay.
So hat's not necessarily tied to affluence?
You don't know.
Right. But there are only a certain number of people. But it's not like...
There are a number of people who have head coverings, scarves, whatnot, to protect from the sun, but actual hats, relatively few.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Just flanking him. Waiting.
All right. Kasuf comes over to you, makes an elaborate hand gesture, and says, "Welcome."
Pretty sure I remember what the word for thank you is, so I will return a small bow and thank him with a 4. I will attempt to thank him.
He seems to get it. You know, it's that, you know, all right, you
That
kind of
wince
just
of, oh my God, she
you really
didn't.
mangle the language, but he understands.
It's that foreigner accent.
And then some.
He says something else to the miners, and as a matter of fact, give me a roll.
Mm-hmm. 2.
I'm not going to make that very difficult. It's pretty clear that some of the people in the crowd are really looking at you based on some of the things that have been said. And some of them are looking agitated at the miners, and some of them are looking agitated with each other. There's a number of quiet, but I won't say heated words, but intense conversation.
See if I can overhear any of them with a 4 again.
No.
Cycle through the dice.
No. You're starting to pick up on the inflection, but
Not quite there yet.
Do the animals seem to be in as good of shape as the humans do?
You have nothing for comparison. I mean, the animals are non-terrestrial. You notice that immediately. They are clearly beasts of burden. They're pack animals. Very reptilian, sort of.
Okay. Because that's her secondary specialty is veterinary medicine.
Yes. They appear to be well cared for. They have tenders.
Okay.
But as far as...
No scars, no obvious fracture,
No, they appear to be, in working condition.
Okay. Well fed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as you enter the city of Nagata, with Kasuf welcoming you in with hand gestures, we take this time to take a pause for our adventures to move inside.
And that'll do us tonight for Gaming with Scott. We thank you for listening, and as always, you'll hear from us real soon. Thank you for listening. And that's it tonight for us on the Gaming with Scott Presents Season 1 of Stargate SG10. You can always send us an email at gamingwscott@gmail.com or catch us on Twitter. Joshua Jackson is at ActionJack853 and me, Scott T, at GamingWScott. You can always find us on Facebook at facebook.com/GamingWScott. This is a Southgate Media production. Remember, we all represent Earth every time we venture out into the world and beyond. Be the example you want to see. And as always, you'll be hearing from us real soon.